So it gives me great pleasure to meet with all of you at Ncompass today. Let's keep it fun and interactive. I know all of you have busy lives, okay? So I don't want this to be one more boring thing in your day. So you're most welcome to stop me, ask questions. I'm also going to pull you guys in with some activities and questions. And thank you, Mr. Dakshin, for that wonderful introduction, and also a huge thanks to the Champions of Chennai team for facilitating this and making this happen today. So as I was coming here today, right, I was thinking, what am I going to say to all of you? You're all bright young minds. I presume all of you are engineering graduates, right? Yes? So I am not a software engineer, I am not even an engineer. So there's nothing technical that I can actually tell you, right? You all know much more than me. But what can I share with you to, for you to maybe take something away interesting from my own experience? That's what I was kind of thinking. To give you a little bit about my story, I know he read out the formal bio and all that. I think the main thing I would like to start off with is that my life has been a very interesting journey. From a young age, I got the wonderful opportunity, thanks to my parents, to learn Carnatic music. And I don't come from a family of musicians. They were just people in my family who thought I had a good voice and they put me in a music class. And how many of you have learned Carnatic music? I'm not going to ask you to sing or test you. Or have generally heard any concerts, you have any interest in classical music? Just raise your hand. Nobody? Okay, that will tie into my, he was telling me that excellent. So, not many people are into it, right? So, it's a very small niche thing. But anyway, so I had this great opportunity to train under Maestro Lalgudi Jairaman sir, who is one of India's best respected musicians, Padma Bhushan awardee. In parallel, I pursued my academics. I completed my chartered accountancy, went to the US, did an MBA. I was working in corporate for a number of years. And actually, this is where my story ties into what I heard from all of you. Not many people know about Carnatic music or have the opportunity to take classical music lessons. So when I was working in the US, I felt that there is something I should do, with my music. I was performing concerts, but it is the same crowd that comes, the same 20 people, 50 people who already know about it, right? How do I reach people who have never learned or never even listened to a music concert? And that's when I thought that we should start teaching Carnatic music online. And today everything is online, right? All of you are on the phone, but this was 20 years ago when it was not very common. So when I share my story, think about the business side of it also. It's very exciting to look at the growth of a business. So I was an early mover, back then when I told people that I want to teach music online, especially classical music, there were a lot of naysayers. People said, this is too traditional, nobody is going to understand, nobody is even going to be interested. But I persisted, I built a team. I also saw the social side of it. There are people who are artists who struggle to even earn 10,000 rupees a month. They work as music teachers in schools, and in any school you would know that the arts teacher is typically considered like the least important, right? When portions are not completed, the teacher will come and say no arts class, no music class, we will be doing whatever maths, physics. It's not considered as an important subject, it's considered as optional. But actually when you look at it, right, for a child's development, learning arts or sports is extremely important, because your brain, especially when you think about music, right, it's completely abstract, like math. You always hear about great mathematicians being great musicians. Why is that? Look at many people, like they say Einstein used to be really good at Western music. Think about it, music and math are both completely abstract, and they train you to join the dots in your brain in an abstract way, And so I started thinking, from the student's point of view, for far too long we have approached classical music as something boring, something very technical, scary. We should change that. We should make youngsters like you all feel comfortable approaching a teacher and learning. And on the other side, as I was telling you about the teachers, so many of them struggle for income, right? When you look at the music industry in India, right, the film music or Bollywood is hugely popular, right? Just like nobody has really heard much of Carnatic music. How many of you have heard cine songs? Just raise your hand. Any cine song, you don't have to sing. Is there anybody who has never heard a cine song? Who's never ever, oh, there's actually one person, okay. But majority listen to cine songs or some other popular music, right? So you can see the difference. That is a much bigger industry, right? Very creative, no doubt. But what is classical art forms? Classical art forms actually, like, they are linked to our culture. When we learn Carnatic music, it's not just a bunch of songs. The music has its own grammar, it has its own rules. We learn a lot about even temples, temple architecture, modes of worship, festivals. So it is a link to our roots. So many times we find that the youth today, they have that disconnect with the culture. They don't know why their parents are doing a puja, so they think that it is a silly thing. But when you actually explain and build that connect, most of the youth actually feel very proud and very happy. Whatever be their religion, they are happy to carry forward that culture if they understand the purpose. So when I started thinking about all of these, the idea of my academy was born. And it's not something that I developed overnight. I didn't go to a VC and get funded. It's completely bootstrapped, self-funded, organically growing. I have not spent a penny on advertising. But the idea is, anybody, anywhere in the world, any age group, we have students from age 4 to 80, should be comfortable coming to us to learn classical music. And over time, we have grown to include other art forms like Bharatanatyam. We now teach languages, sloka chanting, yoga, and so on. So you can see, coming back to why I am here in front of you, when I was your age, in my 20s, I was looking at music as a hobby, something I enjoyed doing, and I was looking at myself as a finance professional. But I kind of let my life take its own course, and I explored a lot of things, and I have now landed up in a very interesting space. And the message I want to share here is that we should have a quest to learn, to reflect, and develop intellectual curiosity. So when in your job, right, you are given a project, don't look at it as a bunch of tasks. Think about how you can contribute, and in fact the people who ask a lot of questions are probably the most important people in the project, because you will learn a lot. It doesn't mean you should keep asking questions just for the sake of asking questions, but what I am saying is, try to read more, try to develop more knowledge rather than just completing the task that your manager hands over to you. You will find that you become more important in the organization over time. We all hear about, AI coming and taking over our jobs. And if we actually become more important, we are less likely to lose the jobs, right? We will be more valuable to our company. So just as an icebreaker, I want to know, how many of you feel that what you are doing today is what you will be doing 10 years from now? Just raise your hand. Okay. How many of you are not quite sure? Maybe you want to change your line of work, or maybe you want to be in the same line but maybe work on a different platform, or maybe move from a technical to a managerial role. You're not quite sure. Raise your hand. Okay, fair number. How many of you are very clear that this is not what you want to do 10 years from now? You will be somewhere else completely. Okay, so maybe we will have one of you volunteer from each category and go wild. I mean, I'm sure your boss here is not going to hold anything against you. This is just a fun activity, an icebreaker. So if you feel that you're already in your dream role, right? I think we had only one person, so I would love to hear from him. What is it about your day? And that could be quite motivating and inspiring for all of us. Tell us what you think is, why do you love what you're doing, or why do you think you will be doing the same thing 10 years from now. Maybe we can hand over the same mic or... Yeah, and please introduce your... Hi.
So why I would be in this? I would like to do the same thing in 10 years. This is like keep me alive. I can...
Your name, please?
Oh, sorry, I'm Praveen.
Praveen, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is like every day morning when I woke up, I will feel like I will do something new and I learn something new. This is a competitive space as well, where I can grow and where I will expose and learn many things from everyone, and I can teach someone else as well.
So you are really excited about your job when you wake up in the morning.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So give him a round of applause, because I think that is very, very important. Even in a child, right? Think about the children in your family. If they like their school, right? How happy they are when they go to school. Whereas if they are not happy, right? Whatever you do, they will come up with excuses, tummy ache, fever, they don't want to go, right? So I think Praveen has nailed it. Like, you wake up in the morning and you love your job, and it's the same thing for me. When I wake up and I think about my day ahead, I may have my own challenges during the day, things that don't go according to plan, but overall I'm very happy. And that I think it's also a mindset thing, right? You have decided to enjoy your job and the interaction and the learning and how you are helping others, right? That is also a mindset thing, because many times we also get into a negativity. We are like, that is also something that we should try to not do. When we have a group of 5 people talking, and typically sometimes one person will say, oh, this is so boring, and then everybody gets into that negative thing and you start hating what you're doing, and that's not going to help. If there is something about your day that you don't like, take it positively and see how you can address.
Correct.
Right, Praveen? Anything you would like to add more?
Here most of you can agree, since most of you from tech field, every day we will face something. It won't work for like a week, it can take months, but once you solve it, the feel you get, that's the edge I'm searching for throughout the life, so that I can achieve something and I feel proud of myself. I don't want to prove to anyone, I'm just proving to myself.
Fabulous, fabulous. Yeah, thank you so much. And is there one person from the next group who thinks, okay, you may want to change, do something differently, and maybe just share with us what your dream is? And it could even be continuing the same thing, but maybe going to a different group or different role, or yeah. Who's the next volunteer? And again, don't be shy. See, one of the things I want to say is, in our culture, right, like as someone who's lived in the West for many years and in India, grew up in India, one thing I find is we are all conditioned to be a bit shy, right? We are scared to make mistakes. Don't be afraid, okay? I have made a lot of goof-ups in my life. Okay, I am the first person to admit it. When this biodata is read, right, for every award I got, there were 3 other awards I didn't get, or 3 other things I didn't do properly. And that is how it is, unless we try. The most important thing is to try. So, like how he so promptly came and participated, open up, especially the ladies, don't be shy, share your thoughts. It could, or maybe one person from the 3rd group who is very sure that they are going to be doing something very different. Maybe like, you want to be an actor or something very, very different from what you're doing now. And as I said, I've already told your boss not to hold it against anybody.
Please feel free. What you want to do 5 years down the line is not going to matter to what people do.
Yeah. So please, exactly. I don't want people to think that their boss will hold them or hold it against them or something like this. Yeah. Let's have one more volunteer. Come on. Or if you want, you can stay there and, I know he very nicely came and spoke here, but if you're feeling little shy, just sit where you are and share with us. Just raise your hand, whoever would like to speak. What is your dream? Like, you don't need to do it also. Where would you ideally like to be? Like what would you like to do 10 years from now or 5 years from now? Which is different from what you're doing now.
Remote team, just information. If you have any thoughts, put the message on the chat.
Okay, so maybe we'll move on to another thing. Oh, you okay? Yes, yes, definitely. Please come. So we have 2 people. Just watch the. Great.
Which group? Group 2 or 3?
I'm different.
Do you want to do different?
Yeah.
You?
Different.
Okay. Any order is fine. Yeah. You please stay here. I won't let you go. I found you with much difficulty.
Myself, Nagaharish.
Nagaraj.
Nagaharish.
Nagaharish. Okay. Hi.
So, might not be around 10 years, might be in different 2 to 3 years, or maybe 4 years.
Okay.
I don't know the time span and the probability of it being happening.
No problem. No problem.
So, my dream, as you asked, I want to serve for my country. So, might be an army officer.
Oh, fabulous. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So, thing I chose it. So, I was in NCC. So, I saw the life of an army officer. Instead of building a day life, they build systems. And they will be very well maintained. And the way they live their life, their family adapt to it. Everything is pretty like an organized system, which is very useful for everyone's life.
Fabulous. So Nagaharish, I'm so glad you shared this, because one is he's talking about the systems and the organization, but also think about the impact, right? Think about the impact that an army officer has on all of us, on our country, right? It's a noble thing, and essentially, you know, today from day one, actually, my company I'm running as a social enterprise. What is a social enterprise? Basically, we are for profit, but profit is not our main motive. We are driven by impact. We want to serve as many students as possible in an affordable way. We also want to put out a lot of free content for people who cannot afford, and we also want to create jobs. We cut out our costs as much as possible. We don't do any paid marketing, so that the teachers in our group earn the maximum possible income. So compared to corporate style competitors in our industry, our teachers get 2 to 3x the hourly pay, and that's only because our goal is impact, and that's totally resonating with what he's saying, right? Like being an army officer, the impact is amazing. So I'm so glad you shared that. Thank you and good luck to you. Yes, and we will hear you. Hi, and name?
Hi, my name is Pooja Kirti. So when Naga told, he told like he had the aim to go to the military and all, but I'm not like that. I'm not in that mindset. The thing is, I'm not sure where I'll be in 10 years, and I'm not sure if I'll continue also. The thing is, when I chose computer science for college, so when we are shifting from 12th to the college, most people like it's medical or engineering. Now it's many, but when I joined in our family it was like medical or engineering. I know that I did not like medical, I did not like science. So I chose engineering, and when I started with computer science, I really started liking it. And like Praveen said, when I'm working from day to day, I like the spontaneity. We face many tasks daily. I like that part. But I also like the part where I'm like relaxed. I like a homebody, very relaxed, and I feel comfort in routines also.
Yes.
I also like the spontaneity. So I feel like I like what I'm doing now, but I'm not sure whether I will be the same person that I am right now. So that's why I came up for the third group.
Fabulous, fabulous. So this is again very, very normal and natural, Pooja Kirti, right?
Yeah.
So I was definitely like you when I was, you're in your 20s, how old are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was in my mid 20s or early 20s, I definitely had no idea. I knew that I wanted to do something useful with my time, but I definitely didn't think that, you know, I knew I had it all, you know, nailed in. And that is very, very normal and natural. What I would like to share is that, see, you are skilled, right? The way I look at it, and this is something especially for the women. We generally we all love to be home. I am sure the guys also, it's not like the guys don't like to be home. But I am just saying, sometimes when I see these bright women who are highly accomplished, educated, but at some point they completely quit their career. In some ways I understand, it's nice to be home, nice to be with family, but it's also a little bit, I would say, if I can say, use a strong word, a little irresponsible to the country, right? You look at India, the female participation in the workforce is less than 50%. But we have so many graduates, so many smart, bright young women who give up on careers because of personal reasons or lack of motivation also in some cases. So I think if I can share this, you are a very bright and smart youngster. So think about creative ways where whatever you do, the skills you have gained, right, you are still applying, putting to use, you know, in some way. And I think nowadays with, even in your company, I can see so many are logging in remotely, right? I think the beauty of today's internet age is that there is a lot more flexibility. So it's, I think, start thinking about where, you know, you can use that flexibility that companies like Ncompass give, and use your skills and smartly navigate all these things together. So thank you for sharing. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I think I'll have a successful career. That's my goal. Like, have a successful career at the 10-year mark or 15-year mark. I'll be having a successful career. But the path, let's see what's the path that goes. Yeah.
That's very correct. You know, it's very hard to determine and be open-minded, right? Be open-minded to learning and moving. Thank you, Pooja Kirti. So I just want to share a few thoughts, right, as we go on today. What are some of the important general things? Because as I said, I don't know anything technical, so I can't share anything technical, so I have to keep it general. In a company like this, right, very, very important to develop communication as well as listening skills. And when I talk about listening, right, it means being ready to challenge your own thoughts. And it could be not just in the office, in your work, but even your personal beliefs. When you have a colleague, right, they may have a very different viewpoint. And you don't have to change your viewpoint always, but if you are open and receptive to other points of view, you will be able to grow as a person. Very often when we are young, we think we know it all, right? So somebody says something drastically different from what we are conditioned to think, we tend to reject, saying, hey, that's nonsense, you know, I don't want to do that. Instead of that, just give yourself over the next week, right? And you can practice this in small groups also. It will actually be fun, right? Like, think about one thing, each of you can mention, take a topic and each of you give your viewpoint, and when somebody's viewpoint is complete opposite of what yours is, try to think about it from their point of view. And as I said, you don't necessarily need to change, but you will still learn and grow. And practice this concept of listening, trying to understand their point of view and then respond. That will be incredibly useful. And also practice preparation. One of the things I learned in the Western world, in the US, there are many things that we do great in India and many things that people in the West do better than us. It's always a balanced, you know, there are some good, some bad in every culture. One of the things I really liked is the amount of preparation they put in when it's a meeting or even a class, right? When I went for my MBA program, on the first day my professor pretty much gave everything that he's planning to do for the term. And you know, there was still some flexibility to change things, but the amount of preparation they put in, and that actually makes things very, very efficient. So start preparing more if you're not doing. You know, don't just think, okay, I'll go and face it there. There is nothing wrong, but that preparation will help you in everything. And also have an empathetic view. Again, in India, because of the severe resource constraints, right? We see somebody falling on the road, we don't stop. And I was talking to Mr. Rao from Champions of Chennai team, who's here today. He was sharing this very interesting thing about how when his son went to Japan, a random person to whom he asked directions to a train station actually made his mother wait and walked with his son to the train station, spent some 10 minutes, came back and then went away with his mother. In our culture, very rare, right? Somebody asks you the direction, many times you will say, I don't know, or even if you know, you will just say go left, right, and then you will run to your work. Correct? So think about how you can develop that empathy to all the people around you. And why it is so important is when you become empathetic, you will find that God helps you in very unexpected ways. When you help people, it is not that the same person will come and help you. Many times we hear this thing, right? People say, oh, I helped him so much, he never responded, or I helped her so much, she never reciprocated. That person may never reciprocate, or sometimes they don't even need to know that you have helped them. But somebody somewhere will help you, and it all adds up, and I find that people who have a positive view of life, like Praveen who came and said he gets up in the morning with a smile when he thinks about the job. Actually, it's a very, very important thing, because many times, and it may be like the same job, somebody else may think it's a bore and they may not wake up with a smile. And when you get into that negative mindset, everything around you, everybody around you will look bad. You don't realize that it is you many times. And many times, of course, we face a lot of challenges in life. All of us do. In different, I won't say everybody faces the same level of challenges. There are people who face greater challenges. I'm the first one to acknowledge that. But when you look at life's challenges in a positive mindset, then nothing seems impossible to overcome. Also coming back to communication, right? Like when I ask a question like this, and practice this when you have the next speaker, I want a crowd to come on stage. I want everybody to be keen to speak. Okay, why is that important? Is because when you represent your organization or represent yourself at a personal level, if you are a confident communicator, you will get many, many more opportunities. Just try this for 1 month. Okay, when you go for a client meeting, volunteer and share your ideas. Don't worry if they shoot it down. See, many times, like I said, one of the things I find in our upbringing is we are too scared to do wrong things. We are too scared that if we say something, we'll make a fool of ourselves. I mean, that is why I said it all ties in. Do your preparation, do your homework, try hard, but you go say something that gets rejected, don't take it personally. It is not a rejection of you. It is more like maybe their budget doesn't suit, or maybe the timeline doesn't suit. But the fact that you tried, right? I'm sure the other person, whether it is your boss or your client, they will make a note of the fact that you're showing that initiative, showing that presence of mind, that interest, and it will help you tremendously in your career. And I can say this from so many personal experiences in my own life, where I have gone out of my comfort zone to do something, right? Like for example, I recently completed a fellowship called Aspen Fellowship, which is considered as a very prestigious fellowship for mid-career professionals. It's a leadership development program, and you are exposed to a series of seminars where they give you a lot of readings and you actually discuss, and nobody gives you explicit coaching, but you develop your own leadership ideas based on the readings and the discussion. So when I first heard about this, right, I was thinking, okay, I am a small time entrepreneur. There is going to be people who are millionaires who are applying for this program, and I don't know anybody. I am not from a family of business people. I have no chance. That was my first thought. But then I thought a little more and I said, hey, what's wrong in trying? I don't lose anything by trying. And therefore, I tried, and I had to go through 2 rounds of interviews, and I actually got to experience this beautiful program. And thinking back, if I had just hesitated to reach out to the person who nominated me, I would have never got this opportunity. And when I talk to youngsters, including my own children, I find this hesitation is there in our culture. It is there, many times we don't want to acknowledge, but think of the last 1 year in your life, any opportunity, and that is the next question, okay? What opportunity did you have in your work, in your life, where hesitation cost you. Maybe there was something like, you could have joined a band and sung, or you could have gone on a trip, something, fun vacation trip that your friend called you and you felt, oh, okay, I don't think I want to go, or something like that. Many times we hesitate. And it doesn't mean you have to jump into some dangerous situation without thinking. That is not what I am advocating. But have that little free-spiritedness, that, that mindset for doing something adventurous, and you will find that there is a lot of learning involved, right? Even if it is like a trek that you take on a weekend, rather than just spending the time looking at your phone or playing some online game, go on a trek, or sign up for a music class, sign up for a sport. You will find that you meet really incredible people, really interesting people that you will never meet. So can I have one volunteer who can talk about, yeah, please come. And where is the other mic? There was what do you think was an opportunity you didn't take, and looking back you would probably do it? Please come, your name?
Yeah, I'm Kannan. So there was this opportunity when there was an election in my college. So it wasn't my department, it was the opposite department's election. And I was like, so there was this opportunity that anyone can stand for the election. So anyone from the college can stand for, regardless of their year or regardless of their department, they can stand for the election. So I was like, okay, let's give it a shot, but I wasn't sure that I would win. So I opted for the least risky part. So I was thinking, okay, if I opt for the least risky part, I would at least get the post. Not get the topmost post, at least I would get the post. Like I opted for the vice chairman post. So the chairman was the highest thing. So I thought there was some ego between two departments also, and then I wouldn't get the shot. I wouldn't get the role. So I thought, okay, let's go for the vice chairman. It would be at least safe. We have our friends, right? But it turned out that I got the highest vote in all of the posts. Like I got 200 votes. Which was like, even the chairman.
So you didn't realize how popular you were.
I mean, that was a missed opportunity actually.
Yes.
If I opted for the chairman, I would have got 200 votes, and the chairman actually got 50 votes. That was a major difference, right? So that's something I miss. Even today, like I would have just that
See, but the thing is, you are acknowledging that, no? So the next time some opportunity comes up, don't underestimate your capability. And I think actually the fact that he stood for even vice chairman, right? Many of us won't do it. We will be shy, or we will not want to bother to do it, right? We can spend that time chilling on the sofa. So he already has good amount of initiative. We should appreciate. Please give him a round of applause. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else would like to share any missed opportunity that? Yeah, you can. Maybe I'll slightly move to a different question, because I touched a little bit about communication, right? And as youngsters, the one thing that will strike your mind, and tell me, raise your hand if you are already thinking about this. This is an AI age, right? If you want to compose a mail, you don't really need to be great at communication. Like when I was your age, like we all had to really work to ensure if you want to be taken seriously in a workplace, your communication skills have to be exemplary. If you write with grammatical mistakes and all that, people won't take you very seriously, so you really worked hard. Now it's like you feed something, ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever you're using, spins out a beautifully worded message. You don't really need that much of communication, is what a lot of people think. Okay, how many of you already thought of that? When I said communication is important, hey, there's AI, I don't really need it. It's okay, raise your hand. So I will look at it a little differently. Okay, AI is very helpful. See, earlier what was happening is, if somebody didn't have good communication skills, they lost a lot of opportunities. And many times it's not their fault, right? Like somebody could have studied in vernacular, Tamil medium, right? Suddenly you're thrown into this office where everybody speaks English, you're at a disadvantage. And therefore you have to struggle much more. Or if you're in Hindi medium, whatever it is. So now AI has become a great enabler in such situations. And similarly, when you go to a different country, right, you are no longer inhibited by the fact that you don't know German or Russian or French. AI or whatever, Google Translate, you have so many tools, but they are all basically aids, like tools to help you. But basically, communication is much more than speaking in English or Tamil or Hindi. It is having that clarity of thought, being able to frame the thought in your mind and express the thought very, very clearly. So even if you type some lines to AI and it gives you a mail, it should express what your thought was very clearly. AI can misunderstand what you are thinking. So that ability to translate thoughts effectively into spoken as well as written communication. And what I find is in our country, we are actually quite decent at written communication, not bad. Spoken communication is something we are all scared of. Many of us are scared of. And for me, I developed it because I am a singer, I am in front of the mic. I can't be shy. I can't say, oh, I'm scared to sing. That's my job. So the nature of my job makes me a little less shy to talk in front of an audience. Secondly, I also actively cultivated that interest in communicating. The first time I went in front of an audience like this, I had to prep a lot. I needed a PowerPoint. I needed so many things to help me. Now I'm much, much more relaxed because of that experience of being in front of an audience and talking. So you have to kind of create these little opportunities for yourself. That is the next thing I wanted to say. Create opportunities for yourself. Don't wait for somebody, don't wait for your boss or somebody to come and say you are the person who is going to lead. Rather, if they give you a task, go and say, can I take ownership? Can I lead this segment? And if they feel you're not ready and tell you that, see what gaps are there in your skill and make yourself ready to do it next time. See, as he very rightly said, we are all little scared, like what if they say no, what if we fail, what if we don't do good job. It's okay, you're all so young, right? You're all so young, it's perfectly fine to actually try something and not do it perfectly. But you will learn and you will grow. So just be very open to working on your communication skills, especially the spoken communication, because then you will be able to respond in a spontaneous way. Let us say you prepared something for your meeting with your boss and he or she throws a question that you didn't anticipate. Some people may say, sir or ma'am, I will prepare and come tomorrow. Some people will say, I don't know. But the really smart people will say, okay, I think this is how it should be done, and they will actually give some suggestion, right? That spontaneity is something that stems out of preparation as well as self-confidence. So to give, and also coming back to the whole thing about AI, right? AI cannot really replace that human to human contact. Which is why I think for youngsters like you, it's great that you're coming into an office and interacting with one another. It is actually very valuable. Why I am saying that is, like, I'll give you my own ventures example. In my organization, we have thousands of students learning from teachers. Everybody connects live. It's an online, it's completely online, but everybody has their own teacher and they learn one-on-one. And what I find is it works beautifully because it is not just about learning music or learning the art form. They actually develop that connection with their teacher. And the teacher really understands the psychology of the student. Of course, you can say AI will also understand, but there will be that human to human connect, right? Like sometimes you will have a kid, like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old who will come and tell the teacher, I don't want to sing today. Or they may say, I find your class boring. The teacher has to develop that bond where she makes that child come out of that bad mood and actually enjoy the class, right? Make the child sing, make the child smile. And that human to human connection is very precious. And some of the competitors we work with, we are in the same industry. they are mostly app based. There is nothing wrong. It seems more efficient actually to say, okay, you will learn music from an app. But what actually we have seen is that a lot of students quit after 1 or 2 months because that human connection is not there. They start, they are interested, but it's like, you know, you are doing something impersonal. So if you start getting busy or losing motivation, there's nobody who will actually steer you back. So I would say that it's not always about efficiency. So building that human network, right? I think that's very, very valuable. Like, you know, 5 years from now, these bonds that you build, these friends you make, they will be great people to handhold you as you navigate the complexities of life, right? We all face so many challenges, but when we build a good network of friends, supportive people, supportive superiors at work, they are really, really helpful, because when we go through a difficult patch, we can lean on them. We are less likely to get into mental health issues, because mental health is a big, big problem that youngsters are facing today, right? And why is that? Because many times we fail to build those networks. There are very few people that we can actually talk to who we feel are trustworthy, and if we come across a challenging situation, we don't know how to deal with it. On the other hand, if you have a large network, chances are, it's not like 100% foolproof, but chances are there will always be some friend who will say, hey, this is what you can do, and maybe it will resonate. So build those networks, and make sure that you help others too. So it's not always like they will come and help you. When you see a friend struggling, volunteer. When I talk about volunteering, communicating, being proactive, it's not only about yourself. See how you can proactively help another person in need, right? And be very helpful that way also. The next point I wanted to know, to discuss about is like, you know, don't just do your role, grow your role, right? Every day, just think about the list of tasks you're doing now, all the things on your plate, and think about what you can do to make yourself more important. In fact, in one of the leadership sessions I went to, a person that I was talking to had a very, very interesting thing to tell me. I was telling him he's a very successful entrepreneur who is earning millions of dollars, and I was telling him, I'm running this small business, I'm trying to scale up, I'm struggling a bit because if I don't do everything, if I don't do things personally, things don't get done. And he was like telling me, fire yourself from the job. That should be your goal. Whatever you're doing today, by next year, you should have trained other people to do it. Then only you will be free to grow your brand, grow your organization, take it to the next level. If you are still answering all the mails, doing all the accounting, you know, doing everything yourself, there is no time, right? And it is the same thing when you are doing a set of tasks, right? Year 1, you're a fresher. You'll be given certain things to do. Year 2, maybe little bigger things they will give you. Year 3, maybe they'll put you in front of a client, but you don't need to wait. If you are in year 2 and you are already good at what you're doing, ask your manager, can I actually go and sit in one of the client meetings? Can I observe what you guys talk about? Can I learn? That volunteering and that quest to learn and grow, right? One, you will gain a lot of knowledge. You will see the business side of things, not just the technical side. And business side is very, very important, because whatever coding and all you do, right, unless there is a business need for it, nobody is going to be interested in it. So understanding the business side of anything you do, very, very important, because even in my work, right, like when you look at it, I'm teaching music, yeah, but I need to have people who are interested. If I'm a teacher, nobody wants to learn, right? What's the point? I have to make it fun. And when we had COVID, right, this is a very interesting thing I wanted to say, because this is something that many organizations are facing today, where their work is being replaced by AI and other automated things, and people are losing jobs. So what happened was, before COVID, we had a lot of students abroad. Most of our students were abroad to learn music online. Not many people in India learned, mainly because they always thought they could go to some neighborhood music teacher, and online was not effective. Okay. During COVID, we were just sitting at home, right? Everybody was getting bored. We just grew 3x without doing anything. I didn't do anything. We had like 500 students. during lockdown, we became 1,500 students, and I was very super happy. Like, wow, you know, we are growing so fast. Then came the shock. After COVID, we started dipping. We were doing the same things, nothing changed. Okay, it's like people dropped out because they started going into the office, or children started going to school, and so many new competitors came, because during lockdown a lot of musicians who were basically performing concerts and gigs, they all lost their opportunities and they started teaching online, and then they realized, okay, this is a niche, I do things from home, I get paid, why can't I continue? So the competition increased tremendously. There was a lot of price cutting. See, when you look at something like music, you never think about these things, but there is a business side to it, right? And then we started really struggling. And then what did I do? I actually built a team of youngsters like you. I invited teachers from my team to join my core team and give me ideas. And there was one meeting where this girl who is in her 20s said, ma'am, you know, I'm little scared to tell this to you, but if you don't mind, I want to share this. And I said, yeah, tell me. She said, you know, you write these emails with all these instructions to the teachers, you write very nicely, 20 bullet points, nobody reads them. Nobody reads your emails. And it was a big wake-up call for me. And I'm sure that youngsters know the pulse of other youngsters, and many times you know the market. And she said, you know, you should be on Insta, you should be doing other things, you should make fun activities for the students. You know, you are still doing a very traditional thing, that's great, but you know, the youngsters will not relate to what you're doing. And it was a big learning for me. So the point I want to make is that do try to come up with your creative ideas, share, sit in those meetings, don't go only if you are invited. If there is something that interests you, something that, you know, you feel will help you grow, and it could even be like doing an online course. I think in your organization, I'm sure you have some budget where they actually ask you to do some learning. Don't do it like, oh, I have to check the box and show my manager I did the course. Actually think about what you want to do. And we have so many things, right? IITM has a lot of online things. You have the Swayam portal, so many opportunities. And it doesn't have to be technical. Maybe you want to become you know, grow into a managerial role in your organization. Or maybe you want to switch to HR. I know I don't want the HR person to feel insecure, but no, but something different. I'm just saying, only if you explore and learn, you will be able to, you know, grow, and you will help your organization grow. That is something I've personally seen for myself, because we are doing really well now after I started listening to the youngsters more. So the next thing I want to do is like this whole thing, you know, fire yourself and rehire yourself. This is a little bit of an activity I want you to think about. Your current role, right? What is easy for somebody else to take over from tomorrow? Let us say you got fired today. What is very easy for ABC to learn and do tomorrow? Second part of the question is, what about your job or your specific skills is harder to replace? Any volunteer? Yeah, I know it's a little hard question, right? What is it that you do, anybody can do? What is it you can do, you may not be doing already, but maybe you can do, that other people will find little harder to replicate? And even if you don't have an answer, maybe one of you can come here and we can just talk through it. No, don't think you should have a ready-made answer. Just volunteer. Or yeah. Oh, I think we have a new person. We'll give.
Back, I was put into.
Your name?
My name is Harshavardhan.
Yeah.
My name is Harshavardhan.
Harshavardhan. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 months back, I was put into this new project. Okay. So I don't know how the managers believed in me. They kind of gave a space for me to explore and decide upon something.
Okay.
So this particular tech stack is very niche. So what is something that I feel people would be able to do is what is the kind of work that is being expected. I think anybody would be able to easily do.
Okay.
But the technology that I work with, the set of people that generally industry do work in a particular language.
What is that language?
That is JavaScript and TypeScript.
Okay.
So for this particular project, since the project is built on Python, I kind of use the same tech stack in Python.
Okay.
And the community for Python is very little.
Ah.
And those who talk about doing in Python are they have their experience 15 plus years above, and they don't come online often. And to find the exact documentations or to interact with them, all those words will be very gibberish.
So why did you choose to do it in Python, or was it something your manager told you?
It's more like the project was based on Python.
Okay.
So doing it in the same language for this tech stack would ensure that there won't be much of difference in what is associated with this project. So I had to go through a lot of different things. I had to go check up the communities. Had to go through different source of people.
Was it very frustrating for you when you tried?
No, I loved exploring.
Okay.
It was more like I was trying to.
So you enjoyed the process also.
Because I was able to interact with people of various experience scale, and I was able to also get to the sense of where the foundation key matters, the thought process matters. Because even though whatever they thought was way above my head, and I couldn't even gauge what they are even trying to say. The essence of thing that they share, like there were certain people, there was one blocker I faced, I couldn't even figure out what was it. I posted blocker in a community thread. The effort that people took, various experience across the globe, and in order for me to understand and try to, I need to ensure at the same time that I can't convey entirely what's there. So there were various areas where I tested myself. At the same time, I was.
So you got a lot of information,
ideas,
ideas,
and more like the experience that was shared, like the time and effort they put, and how to convey certain informations, as well as how that information would be translated in our situation was something very new and
fabulous. So one suggestion for you, you may have done this also, document what you did. You have done, right? Fabulous. Because then when somebody comes after you, right, we will say, your boss will say, look, Harshavardhan did this, just follow what he did, and he can take it to the next level, he or she.
That we follow in this project.
Fabulous. Thank you for sharing. That's again wonderful to see how, the whole thing, right, like it's an uncharted territory, and then he kind of went and sought help and grew in his confidence and his learning, and that's exactly the point I was trying to make. How much time do we have, sir? Yeah, I don't want to overshoot too much, so yeah. Another 10-15 minutes is okay? Or? And then there are a few general things that I would like to share. One is like the soft skills or intercultural skills, right? Because I'm sure you have clients in other locations. Enjoy learning about their culture, how they communicate. It will be very, very valuable to your growth. Many times, when you study deeply, and that ties into the whole thing of listening and observing. Because many things we take for granted in India, in another culture may be considered as impolite, or they may have a different way of doing. Like for example, when I went to the US, I told somebody, I want you to do this. And she came and told me, do you know that is actually a rude thing to say, that you want me to do it? You have to say you would like me to do it. And for me it was like, oh really, there is a difference between the two. And sometimes these things, it's a big learning, right? How you, different cultures, and it's not like they are better or you are worse, nothing like that. But when you know and understand other cultures, you will get the work done much better. And that is something, as an organization, when we have students in 40 countries, we spend a lot of effort, and I'm sure in your organization they do that as well. Take the soft skills and this cultural training very, very seriously. It will be super helpful, because today is a networked world, right? You will travel, you will go, even on a holiday, you go to a different country. If you understand the culture, you will get much more out of the whole trip. For example, I also find in our culture, we are little hesitant to say no if we can't do something. Let us say you have 10 things to do today, and your boss comes and tells you, I want these 5 other things done by tomorrow. How many of you will actually say, sorry, I have too many things to do, I don't think I can do it? Raise your hand. Okay, a few hands. So it's both sides, right? If let's say you are having a reasonably relaxed day, and your boss comes and he doesn't come to you, he just comes and generally stands here and says, okay, we have this sudden deadline. I need somebody to stay back for 4 hours after work, help me complete. And you are quite free, okay, but he or she has not asked you specifically. How many of you will raise your hand and say, I will be the one who puts in that extra 4 hours to actually help you? Okay, not bad. There are a fair number of hands. But it's okay, even if you didn't raise your hand, think about that, right? Both sides. When you are having a super busy day and somebody comes and shoves in like 10 more things to do, which you know is impossible to do, you should actually be clear about telling them that I don't think I can do this today. It's okay even if they get upset, because at least they will find another person to do it rather than miss the deadline. On the other hand, when you are relatively free and there is actually a lot of work, right? You must be that person who comes and says, hey, today I think is a relaxed day for me, let me take it on. And both sides, thinking both sides is very, very important, super important for you to grow in an organization. Because many times we tend to be a bit lazy. That includes me, that includes everybody. Tendency is you have a free day, you want to just do some browsing, look at something on the phone. That is the natural human tendency to be a bit lethargic. We should fight that. We should try to overcome that. And also be productive. Question yourself, are you super productive? When you come into the office, right, do you all have 8-hour work days or? Yeah, so maybe over the next week, right, think about how many of those 8 hours were actually productive. Because that is again a cultural difference I have noticed between some other cultures and the Indian culture, where we think we are actually spending a lot of time, but many times we are chatting, drinking tea for half an hour, taking repeated breaks, right? Taking a long lunch break. We have to see, we are all looking, we are talking about Viksit Bharat, Developed Nation 2047, to make that a reality, right? All of us need to improve our efficiency. It doesn't mean you have to work round the clock, because one of the things I hear from people is they'll say, oh, I work till 10. But when you actually make them study how many hours they work, it will be 6 hours. If they worked efficiently, they could have done it in 6 hours. So, and it is okay, maybe you are the kind of person who needs breaks and who needs to drag it on. But if you are not working for 8 hours a day efficiently, you are actually not really fulfilling your own potential, leave alone what you owe to your organization. So maybe have a chart. You know, that introspection is very, very important. Many times we are not ready to own up, right? Somebody tells you, I don't think you did that well. First tendency is to push back, saying, hey, you don't know how much I did. Hey, you don't know how hard I worked. Maybe sometimes you didn't work as hard as you think you have been working. Think introspect, be okay to own up, and you will find that you grow a lot. You grow a lot as a person. And also, let's say there was something you really wanted to do, a project you wanted to be on, a promotion you wanted, and you didn't get it, right? How many of you will just accept quietly? And it's not related to this, it could be anything. In your college you wanted to be on something, you didn't get it. You just accepted it. Just raise your hand. Typical tendency will be, most people are like that, right? some people will actually try to find out. Like I'll tell you one story about my own thing. When I was in the US, there was a grant project where I could write a proposal, get funded and talk about Indian music to communities in New York. And I put in a lot of effort and I put in a grant proposal. And I was very excited. I thought, okay, my proposal looks great. I'll do all this. Finally, I didn't get it. I was very sad. And this was like, I was in my 20s. So now I'm in my mid 40s. So if somebody rejects, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, too old, it's okay. But when you're younger, these failures hit you more. I was sad for a day. But then the person who is in charge of that grant, she actually called me and said, you know, Vidya, I liked your application, but there were certain things that we felt could have been better. And if you want, I can tell you what those were. And I was quite shocked that somebody actually took the trouble to call me and tell me. And I went and she spent an hour with me explaining all the drawbacks in my application and why it didn't get funded. And the next year, I did my best to overcome those drawbacks and I got funded. If I didn't have that conversation with her, right, I would have just assumed I am not good enough. Or I would have assumed they didn't understand my work or my value. Both are wrong, right? I would have lost the opportunity for myself. End of the day, that is the thing. If you don't go and seek help, try to, talk to people, you sometimes don't even understand what you would be missing. So coming back to this cultural thing, just one more thing I wanted to check with you. Anybody would like to share anything interesting you have observed from your colleagues from a different state? Or if you've interacted with clients from other countries, some cultural thing, something that you don't do in your family or in your part of the country that other people do, which was actually very interesting and different. Anybody would like to share? Take a minute to think, because India is so diverse, right? You don't even need to go to a different country. You go from north to south Tamil Nadu, there will be cultural differences. Right? Go 100 kilometers, Chennai to rural area, there will be difference. Something that you, in your family or your childhood, you are always used to, and when you actually came to this workplace and mingled with people from other parts, you actually realize that other people do it differently or something like that. Anyone wants to share? Especially if we have somebody who's not from Chennai. Maybe they came to Chennai for work and realized something is very different. How many of you? Yeah, please come. Please take the mic. Hi, your name?
My name is Dave.
Dave, yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from West Bengal.
Yes.
So when I first came to Chennai, I noticed that people here, like, they eat from a leaf. So that concept was like
banana leaf, you mean?
Yeah.
Ah.
And I also noticed that after eating, people like flip the leaf towards themselves. And I was wondering, like, why are people doing that? And I went and I explored on the internet. It said that if you flip the leaf towards your side after eating, then it depicts that you like the food. The food was tasty. And I don't know if it's true or not. I just saw it on the internet. So that is one thing.
Did you see that in a wedding or something, or?
No, just normal mess.
Mess. Oh, okay. Nice, nice. And share with your friends something that is very common in Bengal that is not usually seen in Tamil Nadu.
I mean, there's really no difference in our because
Okay.
we come from a Hindu culture, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying something. I don't know. Just like your Durga Puja is a big thing, right? Like that's coming up.
Dashera is like a very big thing in West.
What do you do in your house for Dashera?
So in Dashera, because I'm a Nepali, right?
Oh, you're from Nepal.
No, I'm from India, but like I'm a Nepali, like mine.
Okay, so in your family, in your family, whatever, some festival, doesn't have to be Dashera. Any festival or anything you celebrate that people here will not know about.
So in Dasai, it's my favorite festival actually, Dashera. Because in Dashera, what we do is Nepali people in my household, relatives and all, everyone comes to the elder one's house, and then they put tika, to the younger ones. They give blessings to the younger ones, and after that, all of the elders, they'll give us money.
Nice.
So, that's like my favorite festival. I don't think that they do it here in Chennai.
That's very interesting, Dev. Thanks for sharing. In fact, I had a North Indian friend. Okay, she came to my house for Navaratri, and normally in South Indian culture, you give that kumkum, right? You expect that person to take and put it on their forehead. She took it and put it on my forehead, and I was like, "Oh, really?" Then she said, "That's how we do it in our place." So glad you shared that, and I hope you have many more meals on banana leaves when you are here. Thank you, Dev. So I would like to now move on to staying organized. Okay, it sounds really boring, right? You know, staying organized, what is that? Your mom says that, your dad says that, everybody says that, teacher says that. But actually, it will free up your time, you know, free up your mind from useless clutter and make you a more creative person, right? Otherwise, if you are disorganized, you will spend a lot of time getting frustrated. You will lose things, you will miss deadlines, you will forget meetings, right? Or, you know, you will skip meals, you will end up having health issues. So, one thing I have really understood, because when I was in my 20s, I was not very organized. I was always good at studies, good at, you know, being motivated about, you know, career and all that. But often I would like, you know, struggle to stay organized. But at some point in my life, I realized that if I didn't work on my organizational skills, it would actually negatively impact everything else I'm doing. Because you get so stressed and anxious when you are not, you know, clear. Small thing, you know, like how many of you maintain a proper calendar like Outlook or Google where you actually write all your appointments, all your deadlines. You know, it could be a deadline which is 6 weeks away. Is it on your calendar? Somebody tells you casually, and this is something I observed again when I was in the US. We go and meet somebody, they'll say, okay, let's catch up mid-November. Most of the times here we say that it means like they are not ready to meet you, just forget about it. But actually, I've had people who will actually contact me in mid-November saying, oh, you contacted me in September, now we can meet. And first time it happened, or even second time, I was taken aback. This person actually meant to meet me in mid-November. You know that, and if you actually translate that here, you will find amazing results. I have seen this because nobody does it here. And you will be the only one who's doing it. So you contact somebody and express interest in something, they'll say, hey, I'm busy, come back next month. Go back next month. And they'll say, okay, come back next month. It's okay. Ask them again one more time. Even if they yell at you, it's okay. They will appreciate, at some level, they will appreciate your persistence, you know. So just one fun activity. Does everybody here have a passport? Most of you do. How many of you have marked its expiration date in your calendar 6 months before? Because most of the times countries will not give you visa if your passport is going to expire within 6 months. And how many of you will actually track and renew the passport before the 6-month window expires? Just raise your hand. Okay, there's one amazing person who is doing that, but all of us should do that, because as life gets busier and busier, there are only so many things you can remember. You will start forgetting even small things like paying rent, whatever recurring things also, right? I know this sounds super boring, but trust me, if there's one thing that you want to take away from all the talking I've been doing, this is the one thing. Because if you actually get into this habit of putting proper reminders, recurring reminders, monthly, quarterly, annual, whatever it is, like your bike, you know, insurance, annual reminder. Put a reminder, because many times otherwise some cop will catch you, then only you will realize that your insurance is expired, you will end up paying a fine. And then renewing an expired thing is more work for you. Whereas if you had actually reminded yourself and done it before the expiration, you could have done it online. Now you may end up having to go to some office, wasting 2-3 hours of your time. So this boring thing of staying organized will actually make your life much simpler, and you will have more time for fun activities. And also a small thing, like we also already touched upon it little earlier when Pooja was there. For the women, you know, don't think that there is only some limit to your growth or only certain things you can do, because that social conditioning is still unfortunately strong in our society. I mean, Chennai is one of the better places in India for the amount of freedom that women enjoy, but it's still definitely less than what men enjoy, and there is nothing to get angry about or something like that. You know, take it positively, which means that you have to work doubly hard to get opportunities. Do it. You know, that's very, very important, because there have been many situations in my life where people assumed that I would not be interested in a leadership role. Or when I had my first child, I was shocked how many people told me, oh okay, now that's it, no more career. This was my son is 21 years old now. So many people said, oh, you won't have time, you will just have to run behind your child. I was very determined. I definitely want to have a good career in parallel with taking care of my own child. So those type of things, rather than again getting into any type of negativity, be creative. You know, build that support system, which means building a good network, you know, your family, your helpers, and start. I know you're all very, very young for that, but bear that in mind. Don't give up, because many times I see a lot of bright women giving up completely because they have not been able to build that support system. And so the last thing I want to talk about for everybody is, we have talked about so many topics, right? The one important thing that all of us need to concentrate on is wellness. Wellness is super, super important. You know, are you taking care of your well-being? You're all young, energetic at this point, right? Today there is a lot of peer pressure among youth to take to habits, right? I don't want to get into a preachy mode, but at the same time it takes a lot of courage to say, I will not fall prey to peer pressure just because my friend is doing this and I want to be cool. I won't do it just even though I know it is wrong. It requires a lot of courage. Like for example, like in my first job in the US, my manager, this was again 20-25 years ago. Like today, if you go and say something which puts down another person's culture, you could get fired. But back then, those kind of things were still, you know, I had people who actually laughed at me because I was a vegetarian. And I was like, you know, I used to ask, like even if they say, okay, cream of broccoli, I'll go and ask, does it have beef broth? Because for me, it's very important that it should not have. And I've had managers who would laugh or snigger because they thought it's something very silly. But then, you know, I said, okay, this is my culture, this is my upbringing, I will stick to it. I don't, you know, that time it was still very, very scary. When you are actually 25, you have like people who are 2 levels above you laughing at you for a question you are asking. It is scary. You may feel like, oh, okay, I should start having whatever meat because I want to be accepted. But it requires a lot of courage to say, okay, I will be what I am. You know, I won't succumb to, and this is a very general small example I gave, but today's youngsters face a lot more stress and, you know, things. So take care of your wellness, your fitness, you know, enjoy, play a sport, learn something new, keep your mind and body, you know, active, watch what you eat. These are all sounding very silly, but very, very important because we live in this instant culture, right? And all of you are earning good money at a young age. So we should be smart, you know, about using it wisely, using the opportunities that life has given you. You know, be proud of yourself. You've all achieved to come here. Be proud of your culture, your family. You know, make your family proud of you. You know, which means when your parents or your family hears about what is the best prize or award you can give your parents, doing great at your work, or you know, being really, really good and healthy, and you know, so I just want to end on with a last thing, focusing on wellness. 2 things that you do every week that you feel you should just quit. And you know, I mean, if you're a smoker and you don't want to come on stage and say that, I can understand, but just generally 2 things. Maybe you spend too much time playing some online game, you know, 2 things you feel you should do. And like I said, if you really want to quit something, be determined and seek help. There are avenues available. Like, you don't have to do it alone. That is the main thing for youngsters. Don't be scared to go and seek help if you need it. And 2 things you feel you should start doing every week, or even 1 thing. Any volunteers? 1 or 2 things you feel you should stop that you're doing. 1 or 2 things and something consistent that you want to do. Maybe you want to join a group of runners and run. Something consistent. Now, I'm not talking about this like, I want to go and do sightseeing in China. Not a one-off thing. Something that you feel you should stop and something you feel you should start. Any volunteers? This is the last question. So, whoever is volunteering will have the last word. Yes, please come. Please come here. No, that's okay. Come.
Simple thing. I don't feel like I have to stop anything.
Okay, that's perfectly.
But starting, I should start first of all gymming, I guess. Not gym per se, but some sort of workout should be consistent. More than start, it should be consistent. And I also feel like I have to find a place to play some sport. I'm thinking badminton. But then, yeah, that's something.
Fabulous. And your name, please?
My name's Arjun.
Arjun. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Arjun. Anybody else? Very nice. Anybody else wants to share?
Probably don't need a mic, but we'll go for it. Something I was just realizing last week. Am I audible? Yes. Oh, I was just realizing this over the weekend. Something I want to stop is, something I should do starting maybe today is to go there for my second serving of a snack at 5 p.m. Like maybe stop at 1 or something. I've been mentally thinking about it.
Fabulous.
I think I'll put that in motion from today.
Yeah, and anything you want to start?
I think I've started some good things recently,
Okay.
so I'll probably keep going at it.
Fabulous. Yeah. So that's great. Like for people, it's the same thing for me. Like last month I decided when I have dinner, if I want to have 3 dosas, I'll stop with 2. And trust me, I don't feel hungry, nothing has changed. But it's just that mind, right? Like your mind wants to have that one more thing. So I can totally relate to what you are saying. Thank you for sharing. So now maybe we will just open up if anybody has questions, for me, about music, about, what. So basically just to give you a brief outline, my academy is called Vidya Subramanian Academy. It's in my name. And we are teaching Carnatic music, vocal, instrumental, dance. We teach yoga, languages, sloka chanting to students. And everybody learns one-on-one from their home at their own pace. So we don't have a prescribed rate of learning. There could be a kid who wants to learn, play games with the teacher and learn. There could be an older person who wants to become a performing musician. There could be another retired person who doesn't even want to sing but just wants to learn to appreciate. We have all kinds of people. The idea is we want our classical traditions to reach a global platform. We want more people, not just in India, but across the world. And even in India, I find that there is still a lot of access issues to people in small towns and villages. So we want them to learn. And we also want to take jobs to the homes of women so that they can work from home, share their skills, earn an income stream. So that's what I do briefly. Any questions based on what I spoke or my work, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to share what I know.
Do you also practice as a CA today?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Questions?
You can also give comments, anything you want to share with your friends. It doesn't have to necessarily be a question to me. As I said, I think this should be a good point for you to start opening up, feeling comfortable. I think people are generally comfortable talking to the next person, right? All of us are doing quite comfortable. But it's a little bit scary to actually stand up or come here. Very natural, right? So try to overcome that barrier. Anybody? wants to come and share something, share some thoughts from the session today, what you liked, what you felt you can adopt. Yeah, please come. Introduce yourself and.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Brown, and I think the thing you told about the passport reminder, I think that is actually really helpful. I think because I had this one incident recent happened to my friend, and basically he's a sound engineer in Delhi, and so they were going on they had a show in Thailand, and they had a group, and his senior brother was also there, and you can say not cousin, but his friend, like brother, and they were in a band. So that friend, that brother, he was a sound engineer, and my friend, he's the drummer. So what happened is they went to check out in the airport, and they had the flight, right? And what happened is actually his brother, your passport got expired.
Oh.
So he couldn't make it.
He didn't realize till he went there.
Yes.
Wow.
Like when he checked and it was like expired. So now like he couldn't make it, and like it was very unfortunate. So yeah, I think that is like really good advice. I think.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Thanks for sharing. Because as I said, right, you're all moving from this. Yeah, you deserve an applause for this. Why I'm saying this is, till you're at home, right, or till you're in college, you still are under the protective umbrella of your parents. Right, they take care of, because as I said, my son is he just moved out to do his PhD, and I can see he's still learning the ropes. He's never paid rent before, never had to go and buy groceries and try to cook. These are all things, you took for granted. You were in a mess or you were at home, somebody, your mom or dad or everybody took care. So it's a big change. And with that, right, this is a good place where you actually train yourself to be organized. And you'll really feel the benefits. I'll tell you that from personal experience. If you're organized, it's like people think you're brilliant. You're not doing anything brilliant. You're just doing the same thing, but you're organized. That's all. But it's actually magic. Take that away. So thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
So I have a question.
Yeah, maybe from some of the online folks, right? Yeah.
Since I'm reading it, it might sound a little awkward. But
yeah, no problem.
It's very difficult to not surrender to the societal constructs and do something out of the defined way. It's very easy to ask someone to step out of the comfort zone. It's easier said than done. That's why people usually choose extracurricular activities as a side hustle, because you need financial stability as well. Right? I'm sorry I used the word extracurricular here, but I was conditioned to think of it was extracurricular, extra inside the inverted box, and nobody likes extra. How did you manage to ace both your academics and music? It's very easy to fall into a trap and deepen your knowledge on one rather than trying to expand your interest. Would love to hear your thought. And there is a postscript also, not AI generated. This is the best I could type in the time given. Guess who asked it? It's Dharanya.
Who's it? It's someone online or?
Yeah, she is removed. She is
okay. So that's a fabulous question, and I'm glad she asked it, because when you think about something like music, right, it's exactly what even my family felt. I love music, but we are a middle class family. We are not very wealthy. So first thing my parents said is study really hard. You should have income. You should have, a proper normal life. And actually 20-25 years back, even that was very forward thinking of my parents. Like they always told me that you should pursue a strong career in parallel with your family life. Like with many of my friends, I noticed that their parents would always say, once you have get married, that's it, you'll have a kid, you can't do anything. So even initially that motivation would be less because of the societal conditioning. They were equally or more capable, but the conditioning was like that. So coming back, I was always told that you can't compromise on studies. Everything else extra fabulous, but it's not going to give you income. And that is how most of us are raised, and there is, in some sense, it is actually, for middle class people, it is still the truth. It is a bitter truth. If you do something very creative and it flops, you don't have something to fall back on typically. If you come from a wealthy background, yeah, you can say wildlife photography in Guatemala is my passion. I will spend 1 year there. Your father will fund your stay, or you'll have, you know, enough money. You don't worry about income. That is one section. I think all of us pretty much don't belong to that section, is what I'm assuming. But for middle class people, what I would suggest is, you know, pursue your passion in parallel with your work or your studies till you're like around 25 to 30. Pursue your extracurricular activity well, you know, learn well, learn some skill well. It could be painting, it could be, I don't know, some sport. You never know how you will be able to bridge the two together. So for me, for example, I used to be a performing artist in parallel with my job. But from the music performance, honestly, I didn't make any money. Many times it will be a loss. I will perform for free and I will end up paying my conveyance. That was the situation. So I always thought, okay, that's something I love doing. It's very good. I got a fabulous teacher, great opportunity. It's not my income stream. But then again, when I took a career break, I started thinking, okay, why should I assume there is no income stream from something like music? Why can't I explore? And the fact that I really had a good education helped me, because I started thinking, okay, I'm a musician. If I teach online, okay, maybe I can teach 20 people. But if I build a team, if I build 100 people in my team, today I have 120 people in my team, then I can reach 2000 students. Right? Without the education, just being a musician, I wouldn't have had that ability to think. Right? And if I were just doing a corporate job, then that's all I would be able to do. That is why I said having one more skill really helped me. And also with many of these out of the box type ideas, you need time. Like when I started doing my online teaching, for some years I was working part-time also in a corporate position. I didn't quit my corporate job because I was not earning much from the venture. It is only after my venture picked up and I knew that, okay, you know, I will be able to earn a good income. I quit the corporate job, and sir was saying, I'm not doing anything relating to my CA anymore. And actually, I'm earning really well from the job I'm doing, from the organization I run, and I'm able to make 120 people earn really well. For me, that is really, really satisfying, because if I went and worked in a big four or something, maybe I will still get the same amount as my income, but it will be just me. But now that impact is there. So many people are earning, so many people are learning. So that takes some time. So to answer that question, yeah, developing that skill, pursuing it, working hard, very, very important. Most of the times we don't work hard enough. We have to enjoy the process of working. You know, no, don't look at your job as a bore. Enjoy it. I know sometimes it sounds like you're saying something just to make the other person feel good. It's not like that. When you enjoy the process, you will do much, much better with everything you attempt.
So there is another question. You kind of answered this question as well with your answer, but then I'll go ahead with the question. So your thoughts and energy towards life is very inspiring and really motivating to hear.
Thank you.
I want to know, is there any kind of grounding exercises or activities you do that help you in this? Because I'm pretty sure things would sometimes become overwhelming. This is from Arpita.
Really good question. One thing I have always tried to do is to look at myself as a student of life. Look for opportunities to keep learning continuously. When I say learning, it's not just courses. Like I said, no, a conversation. Like what I'd like to do is, if I have a weekend, I like to go somewhere, meet a few people, talk to them. Even when you go to a temple or go to a relative's wedding, right? Just don't go eat, greet people you know and come. Talk to 5 people you don't know. Learn about them. That is something which has tremendously helped me, because when you face difficult situations or when you stagnate, if you have that willingness to learn, and that is why I did a couple of fellowships, because when I looked back, right, couple of years ago, I felt, okay, now my organization it's plateauing a bit. it's grown well, I'm financially stable, but I'm not really having so many great ideas anymore. So I decided to apply for some leadership development programs, which is one of the programs was the one I was invited to in Washington DC, where there were 20 women leaders from different fields across the world. It was amazing, the learning you get, right, when you meet. Like there were like so many women from Africa. We always think about Africa as underdeveloped, but actually each of those women, they have like 4 or 5 children and 4 or 5 businesses that they are running. For me, it was like totally shocking to see how much energy those women have and how they are managing so many. These are obviously very successful people. I'm not saying every person in Africa is so successful, but you can see the energy level, and only if you seek, and for that I had to go through an application and interview. Somebody at 45 may say, why do I need to do all that? You know, I am already successful. But if you start getting complacent, right, then you start stagnating, you don't grow. So that is one thing I feel personally is very, very important, and it has helped me a lot also. And even with my own children, right, I try to, like I have a son and a daughter, they are both very different personalities. And I don't try to say that my son should be like my daughter or my daughter should behave like my son. I try to look at each person as an individual, understand their strengths and weaknesses, and help them in whatever way I can. And when I feel that they are mature enough, I don't question their decisions too much, even if they do things differently. Just to give an example, like when my son rented a place, he said, okay, I'm going to rent this 2-bedroom, and I felt the rent was a little high. And I was initially telling him, why don't you rent a smaller place or a place with more roommates, your rent will come down. And he said, no, for me it's important because my son plays the violin. He said, I want a room to myself, I don't want a lot of noise. Then I let it be, right? So for me that is also a learning. So learning doesn't mean only books. You actually hear people older than you, younger than you, different from you. So be a lifelong learner. You know, look, observe. Like we learned so much, right, when Dev came and told us about his culture. So when you have these opportunities to interact, whether it is in the office, outside the office, I find a lot of people, they don't show that curiosity. And for me, I feel that is one thing that has really helped me a lot. Like I don't hesitate to go and tell somebody much younger than me that I don't know about this, can you teach me? There is no shame in saying that. It's okay even if that person laughs at you, learn from them. It will help you a lot. So let's say you go to some meeting, they throw a lot of jargon at you, you don't understand. Okay to say, I'm totally new, I don't understand a word of what you're saying, please explain. Actually that will help a lot, because many times if you don't say that in the first meeting, it becomes harder to say it in the subsequent meetings, because they already think you've understood all the things that were discussed previously, right? So that whole thing, don't be shy. Okay, don't be shy to accept gaps in your learning, and don't be shy to learn. You know, and learning it's there everywhere. Incredible opportunities to learn. That's why I said coming into an office at your age is so important, because you will learn from your friends, from what their life experiences are. Their lived experiences will be very, very different.
Any other question? Yes.
So as you said, like you've been to various fields and kinds of explore. So
Can you talk a little louder?
I believe for a person like that, you would have enjoyed being, enjoy embracing the beauty of being a beginner. But for the same person, over a period, I feel you reach a stage where you wouldn't be performing the way that you used to be, or you would be kind of underperforming. You would question yourself on whether, after all the hardships or the hard work that you put to the effort for something that you initially like or love, you wouldn't perform the way that you want it to be. So, if you had ever came across that stage in your life or any point,
that is, you are doing something successfully and now you have stagnated. Is that the question?
More like you performed really well back then, not just successful. Like when you initially started, you loved the experience, and you over a period you were like super duper in that. And after a while, you just feel like, in spite of you doing the recurring stuff or trying to put a lot of stuff, you don't seem to enjoy the things the way you do, or you don't seem to get the value that you used to get before. So it's more like plateau stage, I would say. But you still do enjoy the process, but you don't see the growth, or you don't see the retrospect of you being, the sense of, how would I put, more like the sense of what Praveen just said, like,
correct.
Sense of, the takeaway that you kind of get from a work that you do. So
I can give you two immediate examples. There are many examples in my life that come to my mind. Two immediate examples. When I was doing my CA, right? I joined CA because honestly I didn't think much about it. My parents are both CAs. My grandfather was a CA. I thought when I was in school I should also become a CA. Okay, I didn't even explore other things much. Then when I did my inter, I got a rank and all that, but I actually felt I was not really interested in the subjects. Okay, I could do everything well. I've never, and it's a hard exam. Anybody who knows about chartered accountancy, it's not something you go and wing. You have to study super hard. Then I actually thought about it. I told my father, I finished intermediate, but I don't think I'm interested in this. He was like, how many of you, most of you can understand Tamil? He was like, Padi vandachu ippala vitrada, I mean, nammela waste up. He was like, he was scared. Any father or mother will feel that way, right? You don't quit. Then I felt, okay, I shouldn't let my parents down, they have also invested in me. Then I decided, I took a step back because I really felt, okay, I'm not going to enjoy, because by the time you start going for audits, you go and you learn the ropes, right? You do apprenticeship. That is how you qualify as a chartered accountant. 2 years into it, I knew this is not my life. I'm not going to enjoy doing this. Then I took a step back and I said, okay, having come halfway, I don't want my parents to feel sad. I will finish the course. Then I went back to my parents and I said, okay, I will finish, but what should I do? Then my father and I, we talked and he said, okay, then maybe we should do an MBA. We decided, we looked, and then he said, look, explore, come back, and of course my parents were super supportive in helping me with an educational loan, which was really, really far-sighted 25 years ago. Very few parents would do that for a daughter back then. Now, when I looked at it, right, same thing. Easiest thing is to say, I don't like it and quit. Correct? But what would happen if you quit? You will be like, you won't be properly qualified, right? End of the day, society does want you to have a proper qualification. We talk about all these, college dropouts who become, startup billionaires, right? For every one person we hear, there are 1,000 people who would have dropped out, tried and failed. That is the whole thing. You brought it very beautifully. It is risky. And again, how much risk you can take really honestly depends on your personal financial situation. If you have a lot of wealth, yeah, you can take risk, you flop, your family will pay your bills, you can go back. Normal people like us, if we don't have a basic qualification, basic experience, if you flop, very hard to convince and get a second opportunity. So I would say till you're about 25, 27, it's okay even if you feel your life is slightly boring. Make sure you have really good things to show in your resume. I am telling purely from a practical standpoint, because you may be a brilliant mind, but when you apply for an opportunity or when you apply for a promotion, most of the times there are 10, 20 people vying for that one spot, correct? And whoever is the deciding person, first thing they look at is your LinkedIn or your resume. When they see, okay, these things you've done, right? Like all these awards, right, I got. I would be doing the same thing, be the same person if I didn't get a single award. But when somebody reads out some 5 awards, everybody thinks you're more convinced of me, correct? If I just come and say, okay, I am doing this, I don't have anything to show, I'm not even a college graduate, I may still be doing good work. But in our society, harder to convince people that to take you seriously. So coming back to that, if you're doing something you don't really like, don't quit. Stay on, but equip yourself to do a bigger thing. So the second instance I want to give you is, like I said, a few years back, I really felt when I was trying to scale up, because I don't have any business background. Nobody in my family has done a business. In fact, in our family, typically everybody feels business is risky, don't do it, take up a job. That is the standard thing many of you would have also heard. Nothing wrong, but I also came from a similar background. So when I want to scale up or when I want to add more verticals, I didn't know how to go about it. One, as I said, joined some leadership development programs to understand how really successful business people are doing, to learn. Secondly, what I also did was to spot smart people around me, and that is something all of you can start doing already. In your workplace, right, who are the 3 people in your office that you really gel with, who are really good at understanding, who have the same wavelength? Build a network with them and try to share the tasks. So when you say there are 10 mundane things, right, that other smart person will also have 10 mundane things, correct? But maybe 5 of those 10 things are new to you and 5 of your 10 things are new to her. Exchange and do it. Both of you will learn, both of you will grow. So then next year maybe add a 3rd person, a fresher, whichever is the, I don't know if you will have so much freedom in a company to pull in people into the team, but I am just telling about a hypothetical situation, assuming you have the freedom, where you actually can teach a fresher some simpler tasks. Let them take ownership and you focus on learning newer things. So I am saying many times the mistake we make is we expect our manager to tell us this, and most managers don't have time. Frankly speaking, who has time to think about you? Not that you are not important. You understand what I am saying, right? There will be some clients screaming down their neck, right? There will be deadlines, financial pressures. Most of the times they mean well, but they don't have time to think about each individual's strengths. So as a person, start identifying the strengths and gaps. Strengths become stronger, become a leader. Gaps, try to fill the gaps, and that's how you don't get frustrated with your, if you don't put in that little bit of extra effort, right, you will get frustrated after some time. Find that it happens to most of us, you get bored.
I asked this question in respect to sports directly.
Just
a small question is, amidst your 20s while exploring, how did you cultivate your
Anchor point. Yeah, one thing is, as I said, when I realized, okay, I was doing a corporate job, okay, so first I did my CA, I realized I didn't want to be a CA, so I did an MBA in finance, I worked in some consulting, then I worked for a corporate in New York, then that also I felt I didn't want to do, okay, then at some point I started questioning, if everything I do, I keep saying this, then what do I want to do, right, and then I realized, okay, I enjoy this music thing, I enjoy teaching. But I have to make sure that there is some income stream from this. I can't say I enjoy and just do something and waste my earning potential. That is also important, because whether you like it or not, if you have income, your family is most secure, right? Today, most families, both spouses need to earn. It makes a big difference over time, correct? So what I started doing is I started this, like I would teach music in the weekends, and I had this part-time job that I was doing. And slowly I started understanding how that works, how I can scale, like that. So when you have another interest, right, for most people the safest way to do is to explore that interest in parallel with what is your main work. Even it could be like, somebody was talking about Python versus Java, something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean something outside your work. Even in your office, spend an hour a week exploring something you feel you are interested in. For example, like I said, management. Like many times technical people, they look down on management roles. They think it's a bore. Actually, management is very, very exciting. Running a business, running a vertical, super exciting, super creative also. Like when I run my organization, right, like now we are trying to make this whole thing about telling people that learning classical music is cool. Like you can see, right, a lot of youngsters don't really know much about it. But if you thought, okay, it's as cool as whatever is the latest, hip hop or whatever modern thing you do, more will try to learn. So it's the same thing. You have to kind of slowly spend time on things that you want to explore and then become really good and then become an expert. Thank you. Thank you for that very nice question. Interesting.
That's a big question.
Sure.
So we've talked more about career, and so the thing is, in our daily lives, career takes up a part of our day-to-day life. Okay? So what do you think about the work-life balance, and can you give us a few pointers on how you maintain the work-life balance?
I think it's a very, very important question. I think Work-life balance is, there are two things about it, right? The first thing I want to say is the work part. What I find is, like I said, most people, they don't work efficiently. And I'm not saying it in a disparaging tone or an accusatory tone. It's something all of us, you think about your own day, right? How much time we waste, how much time we spend on social media, just browsing, watching things which not necessarily add to your input in any way. Correct? And it doesn't mean everything you do should be very effective and all that. Like I said, something like a sports or going and learning some skill, even cooking, very helpful. But just doing some Insta thing and online gaming, okay, maybe 1 hour a week is okay, but are you getting, so talking about the work, like I said, try to make that part very, very efficient. I feel for most people, if you are efficient in the workplace, the balance will come. The lack of balance is typically because people are inefficient. They spend way too much on things, too much time than they should, just because they are chatting, looking around, getting distracted. So as an additional point I would like to make is develop attention span. Like for me personally, because I am into music, right? Music, you can't see it. You have to concentrate. And when it comes to classical music, it's very technical. It's like maths. So many things we have to do. It has to land on the beat. It has to, like that note has to hit the right place. Every raga in our music has its own grammar. It's like a language. Every language you have syntax, right? Like that every raga, we have thousands of ragas, each has its own language. Each has its own grammar. So many things that when you train in something like music, you discipline your brain to actually have very good attention span. And that has helped me a lot in my work, in my academics. I can sit and concentrate for 2 hours without going here and there, without going and, checking my phone and things like that. I'll put my phone, in fact, sometimes my husband will come and say, oh, I'm desperately trying, what happened? But when I'm doing my work, I'll put it on silent. I won't answer. And I have told people with some terrible emergency, you call the security and he'll come and call me. Maybe it's a little bit over thing, but that way, by the time it's like 6 o'clock, I'll turn off my work. I have told my work people, after 6 I can't be reached. Again, if it's really an emergency, you call me, otherwise, so which means that whatever work hours I do, I have to be proper, focused. When I log off, I have to do whatever other things my personal life requires me to do. So that if you start doing that, right, like see where the inefficiencies creep in. And as I said many times, like coming back to this whole thing, right, this peer pressure is something, it requires some kind of strength to not, you can have fun with friends, you can hang out, that is not what I am saying. But many times we will find that in a group, a lot of people are doing things which you personally may not even be interested in doing. But you just go there to be part of that crowd. And if that is taking up too much of your time, right, you should know to cut things out of your life. And it's the same thing, right? Like as a married woman who's running a venture, sometimes there will be some family function I cannot attend. Maybe some relative will feel bad, but sometimes I cannot attend. I have to make those sacrifices. You have to accept that. You can't have everything perfect, right? And that is something you will realize as you gain more experience, because when you are young, you expect a perfect life. You expect perfect work-life balance. Sometimes there will be some days when the work will take over and you have to be ready. See, in your 20s, it's okay if you overwork a little bit. It's okay as long as you're not like mentally like too stressed and on the verge of some breakdown or something. Little bit of hard work, to err on the side of hard work is better than to err on the side of laziness at that age, because as you are like 40s, 50s, you can't really work that much anymore. By that time you should have learnt enough that there are 20 people working under you to do all the things, and you are looking at the bigger picture and telling them what to do. So that growth has to happen. And when you have this, when you're talking about the life part, right, like I said, pick hobbies, pick good friends, people you would like to hang out with, who are giving you positive energy. The positive energy, I can't emphasize that enough. And that is something I've realized makes a very big difference. When you are with a friend, if your friend gives you positive thoughts, if you can have a nice conversation with your friend, where both of you talk about some topic of interest, both of you end up feeling good. And you can even argue. Maybe one of you is BJP, one of you is Congress or DMK, ADMK, you argue. But you learn, you discuss, you debate. That is absolutely healthy. But if you have friendships that leave you with negativity, which leave you with some kind of disturbance, better to get out of that, because that makes a big difference to the entire growth, both on the personal and professional front. Because you have a long, successful, happy career, right? Like he nailed it. Like when you get up in the morning, get up with a smile. If that's not happening, think about who is destroying your smile every day and see how you can change that. I mean, I'm not saying do something violent, but I'm just saying just see what can make you a happier person. And if you're happy, everything pretty much will fall in place.
I know it's already late. You have been talking for 2 hours and.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Also. So, last request from my end, very impromptu request that I want to make. Can we finish this with a singing?
Oh, sure.
Your voice, I want to hear that.
Yeah. I will just bring my phone. I'll sit and sing. Is that okay? Ah, sure. मृगयतराधा माधवं मृगयतराधा माधवं मुहुरिह निगम वनेतवं मुहुरिह निगम वनेतवं मृगयतराधा माधवं मुहुरिह निगम वनेतवं मृगयतराधा माधवं अनुपदमखिल बल प्रदचाकिषु अनुपदमखिल बल प्रदचाकिषु मृगिकमदृशमनन्तं क्वचिदपि गूढ दयानि जदावनि क्वचिदपि गूढ दयानि जदावनि कृतसुकृतैरनुभूतं कृतसुकृतैरनुभूतं मृगयतराधा माधवं मुहुरिह निगम वनेतवं मृगयतराधा माधवं Just to quickly tell you what I did. So this is a song by a composer known as Narayana Tirtha, who lived in the 17th to 18th centuries, and it is about, it's in Sanskrit, it's about the gopis searching for Krishna. Basically he tells them to find him and he disappears. And with all these Carnatic songs, there are many layers to the meaning. One is like, okay, Radha is searching for Gopi, that is the literal meaning. But what does it mean? Means that life, has many deep questions and you have to keep searching for the answers. When you search for Krishna, it's not searching for a person, it's searching for deep truth, deep, philosophical truth. And as you look at Hinduism, I don't want to talk like a preacher, but many times there are many layers. Like you look at an idol, one is the actual idol you're looking at, but there is a lot of layers to the philosophy. And why I'm mentioning this is for the youth, right? Actually, it's when you start looking at the philosophy, you will realize that there is amazing truth, amazing meaning in our culture, and you can adapt it to your personal beliefs. Not everybody needs to worship the same way. You can go to a temple, church, mosque, and there are also atheists who can seek deep truth. So look at and that will also tie into some of the beautiful questions you are asking, right? How do you make sure you don't get frustrated? And many times, as part of some of the leadership programs I also did a lot of reading about Western philosophy as well. You look at Socrates or Aristotle, all the questions that Eastern philosophers had, our own Upanishads, Vedas, all the things we talked, Westerners have also grappled. It's the same questions that the human mind has asked over centuries and centuries. So if you start looking inwards a little bit, right, I want to leave you all with that thought. Answers, many times you read, you study, you understand, you don't need necessarily external validation for the decisions you take in life. If you will be a happier person, if you will be happy with the decision, if you will be at peace, that is many times the right decision for you. So with that, I would like to thank you all for being so patient, you've been so participative, and I truly hope that not bored you too much. Thank you all, and thanks to the Ncompass team for giving me this fabulous opportunity to spend a couple of hours with all of you, and I wish you all the very, very best in your career as well as personal lives. Thank you. So one quick thing, before you say, I was just telling Mr. Rao when we were coming today, see, they gave me this Champion of Chennai award. Okay, every year they select 5-6 people. He'll talk about it in detail, but I'll just tell you one thing that really is remarkable about their team. So during this Madras week in August, they have this award function where they select people from, I think 7 people from different fields and give the award. See, I've got many awards. Typically, there'll be one function, you get some plaque or some certificate and you're done with it, some press coverage. That's how I also looked at most awards, right? However, they do amazing work after the award, right? Like, I've got this award, so what am I doing with that, right? Firstly, they select people who are not necessarily household names. They will select these silent champions, people who are doing impact work, give the award and actually take those people. Like, this is probably like the 4th or 5th talk I'm giving through them, where I've spoken to people in schools, colleges, and I feel they deserve a huge round of applause because it's a lot of effort to actually pull in people, make this happen. And I also feel that I'm doing something, to give back when somebody gives me an award, and for them it's just amazing. I just wanted to share that is really the spirit that we were all talking about. They're going over and beyond, not just conducting that award ceremony and calling it a day, but actually going over and beyond that. Thank you.